In the 2016 election, there were 231 million eligible voters. Over 49% of voters did not turn out to the polls. It was the worst presidential election voter turnout since President Bill Clinton in 1996. According to a study done by The Atlantic, it is estimated that 60 to 70% of the vote will be casted by mail this year. In June of 2020, Washington, D.C. was troubled with lost ballots and long lines signaling challenges for the November election. The D.C. Board of Elections has now also added the entertainment and sports arena, known as the ESA, as a supervote center in Ward 8. In 2019, 69% of all public offices were held by men and 88% were white Americans. Harris first got her start at the Howard University College of Arts and Sciences as president. Who knew she would make it all the way from the Mecca to the White House? With the short amount of time left for the upcoming presidential election, Black voters are now facing numerous orchestrated efforts to discourage voting. In the past month, Twitter has banned over 20 accounts pretending to be Black Trump supporters. According to NBC News, those accounts are a device of voter depression and suppression tactics which contribute to voter disinformation. The goal is to get the audience to pose questions about the value of voting.
Why are these powerful people trying to suggest we can't trust the system, putting in place laws that are designed to suppress the vote?
But more than social media tactics are being used to discourage voters. The numerous steps to mail-in ballots, as well as absentee ballots simply not being sent out, are giving citizens one more reason to not go to the polls. There are several steps involved with mail-in voting varying from state to state. These steps have not only caused mail-in ballots to be rejected, but have discouraged young and first-time voters. Two studies done in the 2018 midterm election showed that minority voters were more likely to have their ballots rejected. In the 2016 election, there were 231 million eligible voters. Over 49% of voters did not turn out to the polls. It was the worst presidential election voter turnout since President Bill Clinton in 1996. According to a study done by The Atlantic, it is estimated that 60 to 70% of the vote will be casted by mail this year. Also, no major coronavirus outbreaks have been linked or traced to in-person voting. For News Vision, I'm Chandler Carter.
I am thinking about her and about the generations of women, Black women.
Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is not only the first woman to win the second highest office in the land, but the first Black woman. Third-year Columbia law student Kristen Dupard, a Mississippi native, knows the importance of firsts and what it means to have representation in the highest regard. Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, Maxine Waters, and U.S. Senator Carol Moseley Braun paved the way for U.S. Senator Harris. And now the VP-elect is paving the way for Dupard, who also hopes to walk the halls of Congress.
To look at her and just kind of watch her in the Senate Judiciary Committee and just be so excited just to hang on to every word that she said. And I'm a firm believer that it's very difficult to become what you can't see. And being able to see her in that role has inspired me to want to be in that role.
The historic 2020 election has been described as not only a win for all women, but a win for Black women in particular. 91% of Black women voted for the Biden-Harris ticket, and this victory shows a promising vision of representation of Capitol Hill, according to Business Insider.
I think it's symbolic in the fact that not only was Joe Biden on the ticket for the first Black president, he was also in the ticket for the first Black vice president.
In 2019, 69% of all public offices were held by men and 88% were white Americans. Harris first got her start at the Howard University College of Arts and Sciences as president. Who knew she would make it all the way from the Mecca to the White House? Jobina Fortson, a Howard University graduate, sees Kamala Harris as groundbreaking, and as a news anchor in San Francisco, there is even more of an impact.
What's new is that we're getting attention from people that we haven't before. And what I hope is that it will encourage other students to look at HBCUs.
Black or white, women all across the country have been celebrating this victory. While Harris's history-making win marks a huge milestone, there is still a long way to go. In a Twitter post, Harris stated, "This election is about so much more than Joe Biden or me. It's about the soul of Americans and the willingness to fight for it."
To me, it's less about what she is or is not in support of and more of that this has been achieved. We saw, even on the other side of the aisle, Sarah Palin tried to make it happen and didn't. So it's happened. We're here, it's exciting, and I hope it really is encouraging to women all over the world.
For News Vision, I'm Chandler Carter.
Hello, I'm Julia Wang.
And I'm Chandler Carter, and you are watching News Vision. the capstone course for broadcast journalism at Howard University,
where we keep you up to date on the latest news and what's going on at Howard University and in your local community.
The U.S. has finally named a new president-elect. After 4 days of waiting on last Saturday, the race was called. Former Vice President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris officially became our new president and vice president-elect. As President-elect Joe Biden moves forward with transition plans, President Trump has refused to concede and has even stopped Biden's team from gaining access to intelligence briefings. In the weeks to come, we will see if President Trump will move forward and make room for the next administration.